US President Donald Trump and his tariffs have again grabbed headlines, but this time he's not imposing tariffs on anyone. He is actually distributing the tariff revenue to Americans. It might look appealing, but wait. He also has pitched something better. He says that he will use these tariffs that bring in billions of dollars to give $2,000 to the middle and lower income Americans each, and also use that revenue to reduce the $38 trillion of national debt. He says that these checks will be in your bank accounts in 2026.
Just on the rebate checks, sir, how soon could Americans see those checks? Will that be in time for Christmas, holiday shopping?
No, not for this year. It'll be next year sometime.
Do you have a time frame?
No, sometime during the year, next year. It's a lot of money, but we've taken in a lot of money from tariffs. The tariffs allow us to give a dividend if we want to do that. Now, we're going to do a dividend, and we're also going to be reducing debt. We have, because of Biden and others, we have a $37 trillion in debt.
Sounds amazing, right? Well, it is a strong political message, especially when Americans are feeling squeezed by rising prices and sluggish wage growth. Ironically, Trump's tariffs are some of the main reasons for this. But before getting into that, let me explain why this $2,000 check is all bark and no bite. First, the math does not add up. Take the population of America. 348 million people projected by 2026. Now, if we remove the high-income individual from this population, that is around 20% of this population. These are people earning over $100,000. We assume that they are the high-income individuals. And we even consider the previous policies on how the payments were slashed for kids. 22% of that population is kids. So we slash that to half. If we do all that math and multiply the remaining population by $2,000, it comes somewhere near $470 billion. Now, this is our calculation, which we came out with multiple external sources data, but some estimates even suggest that it could go up to $600 billion. So if that's how much Trump will spend to give out these dividends, the tariff revenue has to be equal or more than that if he wants to reduce the debt also. Basic, right? But looks like Trump does not understand that. The federal tariff revenue last year, which is the custom duty revenue, totaled $195 billion. It came all from customs, which is mostly tariffs. And as per estimates for 2026, this number is going to be just little over $200 billion. So that is double the spending than the revenue. And now this is not the first time that Trump had a math problem. We have pointed it out many times, and for example, when he was asked about how the tariffs were calculated in the first place, he said that the formula was a formula based on common sense. And to cover it up, the White House even released a formula which literally meant trade deficit divided by imports from that country to the US. And a lot of the trade experts say that they have never heard of anyone using such a formula to impose tariffs on any country. The White House said it was also based on other factors, but the formula itself did not make sense to a lot of economists, because that's not how you calculate tariffs charged by any country on any other country. Anyway, this is just one example. Trump has in the past thrown phases like trillions of dollars randomly to say a lot of money is coming in without giving any actual figure. Now coming to the second problem with this dividend. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent himself says that the tariff dividend proposal must be passed by Congress, which by the way is far from guaranteed. Earlier, a similar bill was introduced in the Congress and it did not even make it out of the committee. So rules around public spending in the US mean that the president cannot just say, hey, okay, I will give out $2,000 to everyone without lawmakers actually giving it a green light. And the third problem with this dividend, it does not make sense economically. Let's start with the basics. What do tariffs mean? It is a kind of tax that you charge on imported goods, meaning the companies that import goods from other countries will pay more for getting the product or the raw material or whatever. What does that company then do? It increases the prices of that product for the consumer because it also needs to balance cost and revenue to gain profits, right? So who suffers here? The consumers, meaning the Americans who pay 55% of tariff costs as per Goldman Sachs, US businesses that shoulder 22% of that cost, and foreign exporters only 18%. And Trump, who used to say foreign countries are the only ones who are affected by tariffs, has recently fact-checked himself to say affecting Americans in an interview.
You've said that tariffs do not increase prices for consumers, but now you're lowering tariffs.
I didn't say they don't. I say they may in some cases, but to a large extent, they've been borne by the country. As an example, we have virtually no inflation, and yet we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars.
Again, Trump has a math problem here too. He says virtually no inflation is there in the US, but consumer prices in the US have risen at 3% in September 2025. Inflation is well above Fed's target still, and Trump has announced tariff cuts also on products like beef, coffee, tropical fruits, and other commodities because the costs were rising. And that's exactly what economists advise, but not just for commodities. They say that the genuine relief will come only from reducing and eliminating these reciprocal tariffs altogether, and not from keeping them and recycling the revenue. They say that it will only increase prices further and does not make sense. Make goods costly for people and then pay them some of that cost back. So, well, this dividend of $2,000 per middle to low income American might be looking very good, but it is not practical. Neither the math nor the economics of this $2,000 dividend makes sense, but looks like it does to Trump. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments, and like, share and subscribe to ET Now for more such news and views.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.